Yeyo. What's poppin', party people? This is Stu Sauce. We are Xotic Yeyo, and we are bringing you the XY and sexy, baby. Again, I'm Stu Sauce, your party pimp. To my left, we have Rod the Bass Ryder.
How you guys doing?
Yeah. Right over here, we got C roam off the dome, baby.
What's happening?
And we got Cody funkin' Orange, baby, giving it to you. All right, I haven't seen these guys in a long time, so don't mind me, but I need to reacquaint myself with these cats. Yo, how are you guys?
Good, man. Good. It's been a long time.
It's been a while.
It's been a hot minute. We haven't seen each other in like many, many moons.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
The last show we played was at Dada, wasn't it? In February.
Yeah.
And that was like
oh, wow.
the last show we
Yeah,
played.
all together like
On that
this.
same
Yeah.
day, February 29th.
That's right.
Yes.
That's
That's
right.
right.
Yeah.
Was that the day we
Yeah.
shot the music video, or was it after that?
No, we shot the music video.
We shot
then.
Bad Romance that day. Hopefully
We shot
you've all
Bad
seen
Romance.
it.
Yeah. If you haven't seen Bad Romance,
That's
check
right.
it out.
Yeah, that's right. Go to our YouTube channel. Make sure you're following us. Click the like button. Ring the bell. Ding, ding, motherfunker, ding, ding.
He means hit the bell so you get notifications in case you don't speak Stu Sauce yet.
Exactly.
You'll get it.
And we need to remind you that you're sexy every day. And if we don't do it, you have to remind yourself you're sexy, baby. Look in the mirror. Be like, who's that good-looking pimp? Oh, that's me, baby. Snap in Z formation.
Or not. Or not. Actually, we recommend you don't snap in Z formation. Hey, you do what you want when you're popping. Right?
My lip gloss is cool. And my lip gloss is
No,
popping.
you said it wrong. Moving on. Moving on. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. Caleb, how you been?
I've been good, man. I'm just working from home, trying to stay on my grind. Not quite as much as Rod, though.
Oh, man.
Sounds like Rod's been at it.
I'm not keeping up the muscles like you, though, you know?
Wait, let me see those muscles.
You're like,
Push this up
muscles
over
are
here.
like
Like,
your
oh, look at
muscles.
that.
I don't know. Gyms have been closed, rightly so, and cookies have been open.
Yes.
I'll come hit that heavy bag with you, though. That looks like fun. I used to do that.
It's a
So,
lot of fun. And
Yeah.
with your banking job, you're going to need that.
Stress relief, definitely.
That's
Definitely.
right. You gotta fight off all those people who want those bags of yours, bro.
Cody, what's it like being on land more often than in the air?
I love it.
Yeah.
I really love it. I miss it sometimes, the traveling, but I'm so glad to be home. I've been working a little bit from home, going to the office a couple of days out of the week, but I enjoy it so much.
Yeah.
I've gotten in a lot of practice. I don't know about you guys. No one else said anything about practicing, so
Well,
I've been practicing. No, stop, son. you had your chance to speak.
to my
It's
credit, I've been practicing guitar.
Oh, what a guy. He wants my job. What a guy.
And he said he might take it too, right? Yeah.
That's what I'm hearing.
Well, I've been
He's
practicing drums, if anything.
Ooh. Sorry about that.
And Stu's been on the keys, so
Yeah,
we can do a
roll
little
it,
switch
yeah.
song.
Rotate around.
Oh, man.
Okay.
I'm not telling you that the only keys work I've been doing is for vocal stuff.
Yeah.
Just running scales. Oh, my God.
Oh boy.
No, man, I've been at the beach all summer, man. Nobody's asked me, but, dude, I've been partying it out. Dude, it's the summer, baby. I'm
Nice.
surprised you guys haven't been laxing all cool like this.
Look at me. Do I look like I need to go to the beach?
I mean, you got the most wicked tan ever. I want a tan like this guy.
Thank you. It's taken me 26 years to perfect. But, you'll get there one day, son.
I've
One day.
tried. I
One
get
day.
burned like bad. I've spent like 8 hours on the beach.
Oh no.
Bro, everything was red. I looked like I was the off color of whatever this next step is from red to off red.
Listen, when it comes to tanning, I'm like an iPhone battery. 8 minutes and I'm good, okay?
As always, in life, it's best to be somewhere in the middle.
There you go. There you go.
Oh man, if you haven't subscribed to this wildness, get subscribing, baby. Oh my goodness.
That's
It's-
right.
I can't say it enough, but it's really good seeing you guys.
It's great to see you guys.
So good to see
Finally.
you.
Been too long. Been too long.
Way too long.
By the time you see this, yesterday will be a long time from now. So, whatever's sexy yesterday, we're going to keep you up to date because we need you sexy today by knowing what's sexy yesterday. Because we don't want lack of sexy repeating itself. No, can't have that. It's like history. Those who don't know it are bound to repeat it. So if you don't know sexy, get with the times, baby.
Justin Timberlake.
I thought I knew sexy, but now I definitely do not know what sexy is anymore.
If you thought you knew it before, you were
it's
wrong.
over. No, I have
You
no
were
clue
so
what
wrong.
sexy is.
All right, at least those last 2 letters. That's what we want.
That's all we lay claim on.
Right.
But things have been spicing up in the news, other than us not being able to go to bars anymore, which is really sad.
Oh, there's no shows because of that. It's a lot of bands we know they're trying to play shows, and they're getting paid a lot less than they used to be paid.
Well, what do you mean by that? Virtual shows or people doing live shows?
I've seen a few live shows. Like some bars have, some bars that we've played at have had live shows.
Gotcha.
But the budgets are tight.
Yeah.
So
I'm sorry. What does that live show look like?
I haven't been to one.
We know that the bands are doing the shows.
Yeah,
I
we
can
know.
imagine that audience is very.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I don't know.
It looks like this.
Very, yeah. Well, I was going to say, I imagine that it's very bare because there are a lot of people that don't feel comfortable going.
Well,
you know,
starting here, I'm too much of a coward to go to any bar right now.
Right,
sure.
I'm not going anywhere.
I agree with you.
I don't go to a restaurant. I don't go. I go to work. Come home. I go to Publix sometimes.
Right.
Home Depot every once in a while, and
Yeah.
and then this
Yes.
with you guys.
Right.
This is it.
Right.
This is close to like not 6 feet away as he's gotten in a long
Yeah,
time.
pretty much.
Mm.
Pretty much. So this is it. This is
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, and you never know how things might go. I mean, I went to one restaurant, and of all people, I saw Pitbull, who was definitely wearing a hat to cover his bald head, but he was not wearing a mask.
Wow.
And
Wow.
even though they're mandatory, but I guess
Was that in Miami?
it was in Key Largo.
Oh man,
Yeah.
look at you, fancy.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, want to get down a little farther before we start trusting, and then you realize you're not far enough.
Absolutely.
And I miss those trips too. We would all jump in together and roll out
road
to
trips.
Tampa or St. Petersburg or
Yeah.
For clarification, they weren't just road trips; they were for show.
yeah,
Right,
or
yeah,
for show.
Yeah,
Or for show.
We weren't
yeah.
just going,
Let's just go.
Let's get in the car.
Let's just get out of here, guys.
Yeah,
Got all the money
Let's
in the
go check
world.
out Ripley's Believe It or Not.
Right. It wasn't
That would
like
have
that
been
at
an
all.
awesome show to play. Oh my! In the Upside Down house.
There you go.
Well,
Table that for
That
music
was-
video.
Yeah.
Random Stewisms.
yes, random, very random.
It's not random. You go to Orlando, you check this place. Anyways, I'm not gonna plug these guys. They're not paying me for that. All right.
Not yet.
Good. Well done.
Well done.
Stop me while I'm a head and a body while it's all still there.
But yeah, that's the reality. Shows are tough, so.
A lot of friends are taking a big hit monetarily. I know
Yeah.
some people are taking like $200-$300 hits, and if you're in the industry, you're already knowing it. You're seeing it firsthand. A lot of your gigs have disappeared too, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And it's not just you. Don't feel like it's just you. You've got company here.
Our friends that work at restaurants as bartenders, waiters, wherever, a lot of them are.
They survive off of tips.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
industry is gone.
Yeah.
Especially
it's,
here.
It's brutal.
Yeah, with all the tourism here, it's
Yeah.
And all that money
It's
goes
gone.
back into our streets, into our schools, which may mean I might be beaching it for a very, very long time. That's been where I get my practice anyways.
Yeah.
it's not a bad thing.
If I keep practicing out there for 5 hours a day, I will have that tan that looks like your tan.
Well, now that you've told on yourself, I've got you. Okay. So I think we can do blackface. I'm just kidding. No, we're not doing that. Yeah.
Whoa!
Yeah.
Climate change!
All right, so I guess we're demonetized for episode 1.
Yeah. We can
Next
stop.
time.
All right. We've had fun.
Now
This
we can
has
talk
been real.
about the sickness.
Yeah.
Voldemort. It's called Voldemort.
Oh my God.
That was the cut in your tension if you were feeling it at home. Okay. That's your comic relief for the day. I'm done. I'm quiet.
We have just finished a song called Yellow Funky Moon Boots, people. We're very pumped about it. It's definitely one of our better recordings, I want to say. I think it's probably our best recording yet so far.
Best production, I would say, yes.
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 Best production.
Mixing and mastering's top notch.
I
Yeah.
agree.
Yeah, we had an awesome recording engineer.
And you did a great job on the vocals, you know.
Yes, you
so.
did.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, I got those
Great job.
falsettos
6
and
months of
everything.
practice.
Yeah, you did a great job.
6 months of practice. If anybody tells you, yo, you're going to do it in 2 days and then you go to the... No, that stuff's expensive. Don't tell them yes. That's ridiculous. You heard it here first. I'm just helping you stay sexy and keep your wallet stacked.
If you have the time and the flexibility to really rehearse, we love the process of getting the instrumental down, nailing it, and then adding the vocal. And you know, I have a keyboard solo in there that's a little more vocal, so to speak, that we took at least 4 months practicing, rehearsing, writing, and it makes a world of difference.
It was a good solo.
Yeah, well, that's what happens when you take the time for the sectionals and the practice. And then, like Stu said, it makes the most of your money, makes the most of your production, so that you can really love that end product, because that's what it's all about. We're doing this for the passion.
Especially when you're paying out of pocket, right?
Yeah, right now.
For real, for real.
Yeah.
Can't wait till those gigs pay for everything again, man.
Gigs, what are those?
I know. Right now,
Remember
it's an
those?
anachronism for all those who want to Google that word. Oh man, you know who's a really good producer though? Like while we're all talking about productions and producers, there's this lady who just recently passed from here in Miami. Her name is Betty Wright. You guys familiar?
Oh, yes. Oh, Betty Wright. I
Sounds
love
like
that
you got
woman.
some stories.
I have stories for days.
Did you know her personally or not?
No, I didn't get a chance to meet Miss Betty personally. But I've been, around people that have known her. From her coming up, she's from here, South Florida, locally.
Yeah.
Right.
But people that have known her from the start of her career to the very end, until she passed away. I tell you, her history is so incredible. Cleanup Woman is my favorite one.
That's a great song. Oh man, we were listening to it before you got in, and we were picking it apart.
Yeah.
At least I was picking it apart because when you familiarize yourself with all these great artists, she influenced a ton of great blues music and soul music and R&B just from that song. Like you could hear a little Stevie Wonder in there. There's this really wicked cadence. A cadence is like an end of a song or phrase, and when she busts into the verse coming out of the chorus, there is a part of Johannesburg that I could really hear that Gil Scott laid down. And just, you know what I'm talking about, right?
Yes, sir.
Just that turnaround into the verse. Oh, it's so sexy. It puts the XY in sexy. And if you haven't hit the like button or the subscribe button, do it so you can be sexy too, baby. At least the XY in sexy.
Yeah. So that turn it's like a great transition in a movie. I mean, everybody hates watching a movie where you see those weird jump cuts that are just so they look very amateurish. But when you have a really smooth transition, not just in the cinematography, but also the acting or the plot, the way it drives it just drives the story forward, and it really does that in that song.
Yes.
In a way that's very reminiscent of a million other things you've heard.
You know what I think it is, though, that made her so great?
What?
When she left Archbishop in Miami, because that's where she went to school, fun fact.
Oh, okay.
So she spent high school at Archbishop. Not
Archbishop
McCarthy in Broward, but Archbishop, I don't remember
Curly?
that. Curly.
Wow,
Thank
my
you.
mom used to work there.
That's radical, dude.
Yeah.
Maybe you can hit her up and be like, hey, Mom, did you know Betty Wright? No, I don't know about that.
It's a tight community there. We've got a few folks, family friends that went to school there. It's a hell of a legacy out there.
Oh, yeah, and I want to say Betty definitely laid that down. I'm going to call her Ms. Betty like that. I like the whole respect factor on there.
Yes.
Yeah, so Ms. Betty, like, she started, like, at Archbishop. When she went to school, she picked up a major at Miami-Dade in not vocals and not music, even though she's a guitar player by trade. Fun fact.
Didn't know that.
She studied, ready, percussion.
No way.
Hell yeah. So when she
Makes
was
sense.
studying percussion, she picked up all these really new ways to make her vocal lines. That's why everything is so percussive. Like in funk music, R&B, you've got this really nice percussive ambience. That's why I like what we do. It's very percussive. It's very influenced by people like Betty Wright and those who she influenced, like Stevie and Gil Scott. I could tell you that
Casey.
a lot of
She ended up working
Casey.
with Casey. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh man. She lived a wild life too, man. She's had it rough. Not only great things, but she's had some wild, rough things happen in her life, man.
Yeah, she has.
I can imagine.
Did you know?
Growing up in the time she did. Tell us.
So like, not even that long ago. I think in the '90s, her son. She has like several kids, and one of her sons was shot in Opelika.
Oh.
Believe it or not, they didn't charge the guy who shot the son, Patrick. And I think that plays a big role in what's going on in today's world.
Yes,
a
it
lot of
does.
people are not getting like
Justice.
Justice. Thank you. And even though a lot of music was influenced by the lack of justice that was like taken on by the family, it's very sad that we're seeing this repeat. Like, I know that she dedicated the song that she wrote for her son to Trayvon Martin when Trayvon Martin passed away.
Oh, really?
Or, I don't even want to say get passed away. He was murdered.
Taken away.
He was taken
Taken
away.
away. Yes.
So it's really, really wild to see how a lot of these things are coming full circle. There's a lot of repeats in history, too many slips in the record. So again, if you don't want to forget how to be the XY and sexy, get notifications so you can stay sexy, people. Hell yeah.
If I'm particularly quiet about Betty Wright is because I thought that these guys wanted to discuss Betty White.
So all his research went into that lady who doesn't even play music. Not that I know of. Well, tell me, does she?
I didn't even research her. I was like, oh, that's kind of cute. They want to discuss Betty White. I don't know why, but
Well, because Stu thinks she's foxy.
She is so
foxy.
foxy.
Yes.
Not as
She
foxy
is
as
a-
Betty Wright, though, man. White's one letter away.
she's the foxiest old lady. No.
Listen,
I mean, I don't know, man. I'm going to plead the 5th, 6th, and 7th on this one.
sure.
Oh my
Listen,
God.
Miss Betty had a voice on her.
Yes, she did.
She really had a voice on her. I mean, Tonight is the Night.
Mhm.
There's a radio edit where she did it live, and Hot 105 played it out. I mean, they exhausted that
Wasn't that song sampled, though?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was. Yeah.
Like, P. Diddy sampled that, or somebody sampled it.
You got me, man. I love the originals. I love the classics.
Oh.
You know.
What I know, she was known for her whistle register.
Whistle record.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Mhm.
Which is
Listen to No Pain, No Gain.
right. Yeah.
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 Towards the end of that,
I've not heard that song. I gotta
Yeah.
check that one out.
be a lady in the streets and a freak in the sheets. La da 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 da.
Ah.
Yeah.
And I say,
Yeah.
oh wait, hold on, I can't do that. Don't want to be demonetized. Sorry, Usher, Lil Jon, and
Right?
I want to bring it back around to that whistle register because I didn't know what that was until I started looking at Betty Wright's Wikipedia page, and I started going down the rabbit hole. I realized that is physiologically the highest that one could sing.
Yeah.
Yes.
So there's falsetto. We all know falsetto from guys like Mario and every other sexy song that you throw on when you don't want your parents to hear when you're 17. We all know. D'Angelo, like
This guy posts the most sexy music I've ever
most
heard
D'Angelo.
on our...
Hell yeah.
Skinny D'Angelo, of course.
Yeah, not like the D'Angelo that looked like that, like, oh, you got the down kind of
Untitled
D'Angelo.
Well, listen. After he went away and came back and put on some weight, he put out bangers. I'm telling you.
Yeah, so
His
Fat
last
D'Angelo
album-
kills it.
We don't have to call him Fat D'Angelo. You know, modern D'Angelo. He killed
Modern.
it. And I heard somewhere that he was working on something else, but that's been in the last like year, 2 years. Yo, Miss Betty was a vocal coach on Making the Band. Remember Diddy's show?
Yes!
Yes,
Remember
dude!
that?
Oh my god!
Dude,
That's
yes.
right. Working with
Yeah.
Danity Kane.
This
Yes.
is when MTV was
That's
still
right.
putting out music.
Yeah.
Oh man, in the 35 years of MTV being around, 14 years of that went to music, and that was my childhood.
Yeah.
And then
Oh my God.
Real World happened.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
that was the slow
Yeah.
decline.
Yeah.
But
And then 16 pregnant, and then it looked like my high school.
What a time to be alive. Oh, boy.
didn't Betty White also do some work with Lil Wayne of all people?
I believe so, yeah.
I
She
saw-
did. And
yeah.
Snoop Dogg. And Stone. Okay?
She's in a lot.
She also did an album with your favorite band and mine, The Roots.
Hey,
Love
Questlove,
the
yeah.
Yes. It's much more than Questlove.
I know.
You
He's the only name I remember,
Black
though.
Black
Thought,
Thought, man.
you know, he's the dopest MC of all time. You know, Questlove is
doubt.
iconic. You know.
Yes. It's,
Yeah.
it's the afro, it's the pick, it's,
the
everything,
pick,
man.
Yeah.
What? No, his jackets. He's got all them blazers and stuff with the little patches and everything.
He's got
you know?
visibility like few
Yes.
others too because he does Fallon. Or they all do Fallon.
They all do
right.
Fallon.
That's
They all do Fallon.
But he gets the most like recognition from Fallon. I think Fallon calls on him more than anybody.
Well, he's like the band leader.
He's the band.
That's
leader,
obvious.
Yeah. He's the
Yeah.
MD. He is.
Yeah.
He used to do the Fugees and everything as well, right?
Yo, yeah.
Yeah, well, what was the last Fugees performance was that Dave Chappelle block party that they did with Erykah Badu and Jill Scott
That's
at the
right.
time that they did that one collab.
That's right. You
that
got
song
me.
is great. You got me.
You got me. Jill Scott wrote it.
Mm-hmm.
Erykah Badu sang the chorus, and who did the rap?
Black Thought.
No, Eve.
Oh yes.
Oh my
She's got a
God!
response for it.
Yeah.
Eve did the rap on that. So
That's a blast to the past,
It is.
man. I remember
That's-
seeing that on my TV. That was
yeah,
like that big. Like you remember square TVs, right? That's a thing.
The boxes.
You don't remember
The
the
boxes,
boxes.
yeah.
They weighed as much as a house.
yeah, with
Yeah.
the tubes in them and everything. Yeah, micro tubes at that point, but
Yeah.
tubes nonetheless. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I've got that DVD if we ever want to do a band gathering. There's amazing performances by my favorites, Talib Kweli and Mos Def.
Yes.
Black Star.
Black Star. Hello.
Kanye in the Dropout era, so he was
Oh.
all jackets and all performance.
Yes.
None of that other Kanye stuff. Everybody else.
Crazy. What do you think about our songwriting process? I know, like, for Mothership, you brought me a bass line.
Yeah, I actually brought you, if you remember, I brought you a different bass line, and I couldn't remember it. And then I tried to remember it, and I came up with a bass line that ended up being Mothership. That's what it was.
It was the best happy accident
Right,
ever.
I love happy accidents, you know that. So I'm all about that.
You know who else likes happy accidents? Everybody pressing the like button. Get it, baby.
Nice.
Very good.
Don't forget to subscribe too while you at it.
So Mothership is when I joined the band was my favorite song to play live initially.
That's because it was one chord.
It's one chord. It's this beautiful thing that we can stretch one chord for, I don't know, sometimes we go 20 minutes.
Pretty much,
It's
yeah.
pretty great.
Especially for that drum solo.
Oh yeah.
Don't get me started on that. Boy.
Yeah, it'll end in 20 minutes if you do.
My favorite part of the drum solo always was when you tried to mess with time.
Oh yeah.
And
You
then-
shift the beat.
And I always, you know, James Jamerson is my hero, you know.
Yes. Mhm.
So I'm all about locking in.
That's
you know,
right.
that's all. I'm about locking in.
Mhm.
And then you force me to not.
Right.
And I have to go against every single instinct I have.
Mhm.
I have to count,
Yes.
like actually, factually
Right. And be thinking about
count.
it.
And
Yeah.
be thinking about counting.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'd lose myself.
Yes.
And now it's my job to be the clock, you
Yeah.
know, and give you the space to jump in between time and like do those awesome things you do.
Men, you want to know a secret? And it has not been recorded. It's not videotaped anywhere. It's not written down. My secret? Are you sure you want to know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
go for it.
I only throw it back by one beat.
That makes sense.
Right.
That makes sense.
Or I'll throw it ahead one beat.
Right, no,
I
that
don't,
makes sense.
When I stop, like, you'll be playing the bass line, doom, 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 doom. Just keep that on loop.
Right, yeah.
And then when I stop and I play a completely different groove,
Yeah.
it's the same cadence, just
Right.
thrown back one beat. Always.
Awesome. And that's why I love jumping into that song, because I come from worship guitar, where I'm trying to make my guitar sound more like an organ, really spacey.
Right.
I come from ambient music, and Claude Debussy is my favorite piano player of all
He's
time.
awesome with those, like, what are they called? The whole tone scales.
Yeah.
Oh.
More importantly, he's famous for saying time signatures are a relic of the past and writing things in these weird times. So when I came in and I could just hold these long chords to kind of gel the two of you together into those drums while Cody goes crazy and, you know, throws time ahead or behind, it really helped to tie it all together. So if you did lose the beat for a second, you could fall right back in,
Right.
because there's this ooze or this goo
Yeah.
keeping it all
Yeah.
together.
Yeah.
I felt like when you jumped in it with all of us, you really held the air of everything. Because normally, like, the way I see these long chords is very, like, the air of everything. It is like this gel. You don't see the film over the teeth or over, like, the window.
You barely
but you know
even
it's
notice
there.
it.
Sometimes it makes things clear, and
Right.
sometimes it might contort things. It's weird to talk about sound visually, but that's really, like, to me, this piano definitely helped keep this solid groove going. I noticed that things got tighter when you jumped in. Like, we weren't, I'm not going to say that, we lose our place all the time, but these shifts make it so that sometimes we did lose our place, and we found ourselves losing it less with that air keeping things really tight.
Yeah.
It was like seeing the air inside a Tupperware. If you burp it, all the air comes out, and then you get back in there.
Well, it's all from the philosophy of Brian Eno. It's like fill in the white space with just slightly colored noise. Not white noise, but just slightly colored, ever so slightly, to give it that different flavor. Brian Eno, for those of you that don't know, is a cinematic producer who's done all sorts of soundtracks from Batman, The Dark Knight Rises, and those types of movies where Inception, you know it when you hear it. You know Brian Eno, and he's all about just filling it in for that huge sound. So that's how we came to it. But these days we've been writing a little bit differently, right? You know, Stu, you and I have been getting together, and we take things to marquee music to rehearse them. So why don't we talk a little bit about that, the newer process?
So, like, the newer process. So before, I was writing when we didn't have C-Rome with all of us. When we didn't have you, dude, it was a lot of writing guitar parts as keyboard parts. And so without a keyboard, when you're writing dance music, you have to be the keyboard. You have to have something that replicates all of that. And now I'm free to just be a guitar player. I have to make smaller voicings happen. And so instead of using these 5 or 6 note chords, I'm definitely minimizing things to 3 or 4 note voicings. So a lot of what I'm doing is allowing the piano to create these new chord shapes that are 1 or 2 notes different than the chords that I'm making, to create these stacked chords.
And what's really great is that when we all get in the rehearsal room, we have a brain like Cody that can say, hey, peel it back a little more, or give me more here. And then Rod, who gives that defining note, because the bass plays usually 1 note at a time, that defines what we're doing.
Yeah, I might think it's a G chord, but Rod's like, mother trucker, now it's an A minor 7.
Pretty much. I don't think I think you guys don't know this already, but probably they don't know. I don't approach music. I try not to approach music from an academic perspective, from a thoughtful perspective, but rather from a very visceral and emotional perspective, and as a result, to me, it's like there's a space where it has to be. There's just a space where it has to be, and we recently worked on a song together, like
The love song?
I think so. That was like 4 weeks.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The one that sounded very Elton Johnny, right?
Yeah. But
Oh my gosh.
Actually, I think it's longer. It's like 6 or 7 weeks ago.
Oh my
now.
gosh. Again, it's been a hot minute since I've
Yeah,
seen you
right?
guys, especially in the same room. This is, like, so wild.
And then you had those 4 chords, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then I went through this semi-chromatic thing, and I remember we had this. I don't know. Disagreement's not the right word, but more like the chord. I forget what chord you played, but I turned it into a G. I just said no, it's a G now, you know. And then you kept saying it shouldn't be a G. I'm like, but it's a G now, you know. And then we tried different things. I went to the third of it, the minor third, a few other things because you wanted me to try all those things.
Yep.
And I tried all those things, and then I came back, and we were playing again. I came right back to that
To
G.
the G,
You're
and you're
like,
like,
that's
the
it!
note, and
That's
you're like,
it!
it's like G!
You're like, that's the note, what is it? That's the G. I was like I told you, you know. So I for me, I've always approached the bass that way. There's like a space where it should fit, and I look for that space, and I try to fit it right in that space.
Cody, we look to you as our musical director. That's often a name or a hat we throw at you. What's it like from your perspective, being, you know, physically behind us, and I see you pointing your stick, hey, no, you do this and you do this, all the while you're drumming. What's that process like for you?
Well, just for a little background, which musician in the band serves as the musical director? Any guesses? Any guesses?
The drummer?
Not usually, no.
It's usually the keyboard player.
Keyboard player.
Usually, yeah.
Yeah, you can take a look at. I don't know how bands today operate. At least none of these local bands have like a music director. They all kind of play the songs that they wrote together, or they're playing cover songs, kind of like we do from time to time. But it's usually the keyboard player.
Yeah.
And the keyboard player is not sitting flush with the rest of the band on stage. He or she is sitting off sideways. You know, can see the band, and the band can all see them. So, thank you for the job. I appreciate it. It's a challenge because I'm behind you.
Right.
But I do know how to get your attention.
Yes.
I do.
You've learned.
I've learned how.
We've gotten better.
We've gotten better. I used to just stop playing and get up and hit him on the back of the head. Hey, I'm trying to talk to you.
Those were like our first 3 or 4 shows. He's not joking.
No,
He
that was
did that.
no.
He
that
did that.
No, that was our first 3 or 4 years.
Yeah.
Okay?
That's more accurate.
It was the first 3 or 4 years. But,
Always in the same spot too. Like I must have had a knot on my. That's why I'm wearing this hat right now.
yeah, that's exactly why. By the way, that's a nice hat. But anyway, but I've learned how to really get creative with it. Now you hear like a splash hit or a double snare hit or a rim shot out of nowhere on a ballad, and you'll know, oh, what does Cody want? You know. I want to say this and not sound like a know-it-all. You don't have to direct the music when everyone knows what they're doing.
This is true.
That's
Right?
a fact. That's a fact.
So when we do woodshed and get into rehearsals, we actually are going over the material that we wrote or songs that we want to cover by other artists, and they're songs that we like. So before we even get together, we do our own rehearsals. My job as the music director is, okay, you know your part? Good. You know your part? Good. You know your part? Good. Does the drummer know his part? I'll feel it out, but, you know, what I'm trying to say is by the time the rehearsal, even the show is done, wow, that was a really good show because everybody knew what they were doing. That doesn't take away from the technical difficulties, but the bass player played the right part. You know, the lead singer was singing the right notes and playing the right notes at the same time. The keyboardist was not sitting flush. He was right on top where he needed to be. You know, and then the drummer in the back was just making a bunch of noise. So I love being the MD. You know, it's a lot of fun.
What we always did, especially in Marquee, when we were getting together,
Right.
You and I always are very focused on the arrangement.
Correct.
You know? Like making sure that every piece is exactly where it should be.
Right.
You know?
Right.
Not stretching too much.
Right.
Not being too short. Some things
Correct.
need a little bit more air, you know, to develop, and some things need, you know, just to be a little tease and then go away.
Right.
You know.
And it's funny you say that. You and I are going to sync a little bit differently than Caleb and I are going to get together.
Exactly.
And that's a hell of a lot different from how Stu and I get together.
Yeah.
Because if you know the pyramid, you know, the sonic pyramid, bass and drums got to go together.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know,
Exactly.
the question is who sets the tone or who defines the style. It's not the drummer. It is a bass player.
Right,
so 95% of the time, I'm comping whatever he's doing.
Right.
And before Caleb came and blessed us with his talents, it was, all right, Rod and Cody got to get it together.
Yeah.
And then Stu, you kind of have to fall
On top
right
of
in
it,
the bed, right on top, and not, you know, not teeter around with it, you know, because he was playing keyboard parts and guitar parts and singing.
And singing.
You were both singing.
Yeah.
So Caleb coming in really did alleviate Stu.
Right.
A whole lot.
Right, because
You know?
me, I do a lot of comping the drums. I comp the drums as much as I can because
rhythmically, yes.
Rhythmically, it's the percussive thing that I'm trying to follow the most.
Yeah. Correct.
As much as I love to comp the bass every now and again, to me, like what's really coming through sonically is the drums.
Right.
Definitely.
Ooh, like the snare, the hi-hat, like the way you play different rhythms. I know that we were doing a lot of call and response at some shows, like at Dubliner and stuff. We would do a lot of call and response things that would all play off of these percussive solo-y feels, and trying to comp them and play over them was really wild, and a lot of the groove just fell on you because you really held a lot of everything.
That was my job. That's my job. That's why I'm a bass player. I
Yeah.
love it. I don't mind.
That's right. He better not mind.
I love it, man. It's my thing. So, I went to GC yesterday, or Guitar Center yesterday, and and I tore up a Mark bass amp, for some fun yesterday. It was cool. It was
I'm
cool.
sorry I didn't write you back about that because you told me you were going.
Yeah,
that you
yeah,
went.
yeah. No,
So
I went. So
that must have been fun.
Yeah, no, it was fun. It was fun because it's semi-empty.
Yeah.
Everyone's wearing a mask and,
Yeah.
and all that, and
No one's gonna bother you.
no one's gonna bother me.
Yeah.
Or else you throw a drumstick at them because they're not 6 feet away. Get out of here!
But they had the new Mustang bass.
Oh man.
The one that's I think it's called a Sunset Burst.
Okay.
So
I think yours is probably like a sexier bass though. That orange, dude.
that orange is
Oh, that's
very.
beautiful.
You let me know when those the electric pink and blue Jaguars come in the school. The one Squire's about to put out.
Oh,
If
man.
they tell me, yeah, sure. So but yeah, so I took one down, plugged it into a Mark bass, and rumbled the hell out of that place,
Ooh.
and it was fun. It's been a while since I played for people.
Sure,
So,
sure.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, my first time playing for people was every day I'm at the beach, passing out our flyers.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
You're wearing a mask, right?
passing out flyers.
Moving on.
it was not illegal.
Fifth.
Word. Okay. Okay.
But yeah, no, we should get together again though and
should.
play.
We
So
should.
we'll see how quick I can put together my studio so that we can do that.
I've sold some merch recently. Please buy our merch because right now you are supporting our music habit and getting into these studios and practicing because we all don't have that kind of living situation where we can legitimately go to our house and play in our studios at home. It doesn't work like that. So please help us out so we can have more conversations like, yo, this time we were at Marquee. This time we were at this other studio. You have another friend's studio who we went to last time. The sound was great. I mean, some things were a little funky when you're doing production, but for the most part, when we're all practicing, this room would be awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it all costs money. I know some of these things are like $20-$40 an hour.
Yeah.
And so it'd
Some
be
are
really
even
more.
more.
Some
Some
are
are
even
even more.
That's
yeah.
right.
I know
$20-$40 you're doing good. So
That's right.
Yeah, I think Marquee went up, but I hope not since the last time we were there because it was crazy.
Yeah, so hit up that merch site, and if you like this round of merch and you buy up that merch, then we can produce more merch so that
More
you can have
hats.
more cool stuff.
Hit the like button and subscribe button, and then go out to our website, xoticyeyo.com, and get a shirt. Especially those sexy blue ones, ladies. Oh my God, they
Yeah, they
make
are
you
very
look
sexy.
sexy. They'll put the X, Y, and sexy just for you.
The shirts are the best. The hats are the best. Everybody knows it. Everyone is saying it. That's what it is.
Buy our merch because YouTube is not going to pay us.
That's
for this.
Not anymore. Oh man, well this has been fun, guys.
Yeah.
It has been.
Oh man, if you've enjoyed our show, we've enjoyed our show.
Yes, we have.
Definitely.
I'm crying. We've enjoyed our show. I hope you need a mask after this. Don't forget to subscribe, like, follow us, hit up our merch, show some love on the IG, add us. We want to see you, especially when we're allowed to perform again with all you other crazy motherfuckers out there, baby. Yeah, and when we shoot this next music video, we want you in there. We want you putting the X, Y, and sexy all the time. Until then, dude, love each other. Show love, make harmony in this world, because that's all we got right now. My phone is ringing. I gotta go. Deuces.
Peace.
Bye.
See ya.
Yo.